I did not know I was the third person in my own marriage until it was too late. My name is Amara, and I was married to a man who loved another woman openly while I stayed quiet and called it peace. From the outside, my marriage looked fine. We lived in a small but neat apartment in Surulere, Lagos. My husband, Kunle, worked in a telecoms company. I worked as an admin officer in a logistics firm. We were not rich, but we were comfortable. People often said I was lucky to have Kunle. What they did not see was Sade. Kunle always said Sade was just his best friend. He said they grew up together. He said she was like family. And because I was taught not to be troublesome, I believed him. Or at least I pretended to. I have always been a quiet person. My mother raised me that way. She believed a good woman must endure. She said marriage is not a place for noise. So I learned early to swallow my pain and smile. When Kunle and I were dating, Sade was always around. She knew his schedule, she knew when he was stressed, she knew how he liked his food, she even knew his passwords. When I asked, Kunle laughed and said I was overthinking. After our wedding, nothing changed. Sade still came over without calling. She sat beside Kunle on the sofa like she owned the place. She answered his phone sometimes. When I felt uncomfortable, Kunle said I was jealous for nothing. One day, I found a receipt in Kunle's trouser pocket. He had bought a new phone. I was happy at first. I thought it was for me. But when I asked, he said it was for Sade. She was sad, he said. She needed cheering up. That same week, when I asked him for money to fix my broken shoes, he said we should manage. That was the first crack in my heart. Still, I said nothing. On Valentine's Day, Kunle came home late. He gave me a simple card. Inside was money and a note that said, "Manage this, my wife." I thanked him. Later that night, I saw Sade's social media post. Kunle had bought her flowers, a necklace, and taken her out to dinner. The caption read, "Thank you to the man who understands me." I cried quietly in the bathroom so no one would hear me. At family events, people joked that Sade and Kunle looked more like husband and wife. Kunle laughed along. I laughed too, even when it hurt. I told myself it was nothing, but deep down, I knew the truth. I was married, yet I was alone. And I did not know that very soon my silence would cost me everything. Second wedding anniversary came quietly. Kunle did not mention it. He did not even send a message. I did not remind him. I decided to make the day special by myself. After work, I rushed home. I cooked his favorite food. I cleaned the house. I set the table and lit candles. I wore the dress he once said he liked. I waited. When the door opened, my heart lifted. Then it fell. Kunle walked in with Sade. She smiled like she belonged there. Kunle said they met on the road. He said it was not planned. He said she would just eat and go. I wanted to say no. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. I nodded. During dinner, they laughed. They talked about things I did not understand. I sat quietly and ate slowly. I felt invisible. Then Sade tasted the food and shook her head. "You tried," she said. "But Kunle likes mine more." Kunle laughed. Something snapped inside me. I said quietly, "I wanted tonight to be just us." Kunle dropped his spoon. "Why do you always make things difficult?" he shouted. I was shocked. He had never spoken to me like that before. He accused me of being jealous. He accused me of ruining the night. Sade watched us silent with a small smile. Kunle stood up and packed a bag. He said, "I need space." Then he turned to Sade. "Let's go." They left together. I sank to the floor and cried until my chest hurt. Days passed. Kunle did not call. I called him many times. He did not answer. On the third day, I fainted at the gate. A neighbor rushed me to the hospital. That was where the doctor told me I was pregnant. My heart beat fast. Kule did not know. I tried to reach him again. Nothing. In desperation, I called Sade. She answered calmly. She said Kule was resting. She said if I wanted to talk to him, I should come to a quiet lake resort that evening. Something felt wrong, but I was desperate. At the lake, Sade was waiting. Kule was not there. She told me the truth, that Kule never loved me, that I was easy to control, that she wanted him. We argued. The canoe tipped. I fell into the water. I screamed. Kule arrived. He jumped in. He swam past me. He saved Sade first. That was the moment I knew I had never been his choice. I woke up in the hospital. My body was weak. My heart was empty. The doctor said I survived. The baby did not. Kunle came later. He cried. He begged. He said he did not know I was pregnant. I listened quietly. Then I spoke. I told him I was done. Not because of that night alone, but because of every time he chose someone else over me. Because of every time I stayed silent and allowed disrespect. We divorced. It was not loud. It was not messy. It was final. My mother cried, but she understood. Slowly, I began to speak. At work, in life, in my own heart. I learned something important. Silence is not peace. Sometimes silence is permission, and I will never be quiet again.